Happy Thursday. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of Mimosa Hotline. Joining me today is co-host Ronii Ashley, our business strategist, and I am Ashley Rhoda, your brand strategist. And every Thursday we go live with the hot topics of our week, what's going on, inspirations we want to talk about, clients that we want to talk about, life that we want to talk about, whatever, whenever, however. So one thing I want to start off with is I just want to share a quick announcement that in past episodes and in all episodes leading up to this point, we have done very diligent show notes that down to like the minute marker, what we talk about, the resources that we share, all of the things. And to be honest, it didn't make the recent cut in our priorities, let's put it that way. It's just not something that we're loving anymore, and we don't do things if we don't love it and it doesn't feel aligned, and we're not sure if it's a benefit in the capacity that we're doing it right now. So our current intention is that when we launch the membership speakeasy, most likely we will bring those back as a member benefit, but as of right now, we're not seeing you guys download them. We're not seeing you scream about them. We're not seeing that like, oh my God, I have to have them. Therefore, we're going to just take that off the plate for a bit. It also frees us up because it does take more time than we want to admit. So
yeah, it's a lot of work.
That being said, you're our people. If you want them and you're like, oh my God, tell us. Otherwise, we're going to just assume.
I mean, it's a strategic decision that like they have to watch us now.
Yeah. So
just read about it.
If there's things that we say or you want us to go deeper on, please let us know. We can, all the things, but that's a heads up thing. So while I do a quick little tech thing on this side, do you want to start our conversation off?
Yeah. So I think we started this conversation over the weekend because I apparently had a brilliant comment that you were like, that's it. And so I have a good lead into like my week. And the other thing that we did on Sunday was we went through our Shein carts and like had a whole like, do we love this?
Like, yes. So we did a fashion review of our Shein cart.
Totally.
So excited.
Well, yeah. So we did this whole Shein cart thing. Well, and you've been on me for the last like 3 or 4 days since then about like ordering a few things in my Shein cart, and I haven't yet. And the reason I haven't yet is because I don't know if I have shiny object syndrome or if this is a legitimate like program I want to like get into, but it's around like PR and getting more exposure and like getting into like big name outlets like the Today Show and Business Insider and Entrepreneur and all of those kinds of things. And it's like a $500 program. So I haven't splurged on either thing yet because I'm not supposed to be buying any more programs. And so I can't quite tell if I have shiny object syndrome or if it actually is something I could use and like learn from. But that's why I haven't bought my Shein cart yet. But two, this leads into the topic that we talked about over the weekend of all of these coaches and programs that we've done a million of, that we've bought all the time, give you like this end result that you're supposed to be getting, and you know where you're starting from, but nobody like gives you the in between. Nobody like shows you how to do anything. And so like I made the analogy of it's kind of like when you're in algebra class or in math class and you get the equation and you have to give the answer, but your teacher won't let you give just the answer. You have to show your work, all the in-between steps to get there. And I don't feel like coaches and online programs and trainings do that. We know our equation, what's happening and what we need to solve. And they're like, here's the result. And then there's no help in between.
Right. And the whole concept of working backwards and things. I'm one side note I'm distracted by is I'm trying to figure out your connection because it's a little glitchy and I want it higher speed. So I didn't know if there was anything on your end, if we can close a few windows or something, but it's pretty early.
Yes.
So I closed all mine and I was like, maybe we could close a few more because you're gonna hate me on the recording for not saying something. I'm gonna be like, you look fabulous. You're just like but it looks that is already better, whatever you did already. Yeah.
This computer.
That's fair. Well, maybe
Between
that's another
tech and
splurge
people.
that we could do.
Between tech and people in the last 2 weeks,
Yeah, right.
I need to go take a nap.
No, you need to check out your Shein cart. That's what you need to do. No, okay, so let me address all of the awesomeness you just said. Okay, so we have a Shein clothing cart, which we've done now, fashion reviews, which is like the best thing we've ever added to our Sunday rituals of our mimosa talks. And we were going through everyone's items, what we liked, what we didn't. Oh, I want one of those. Oh, I want one of those. Now I've got two things here, because when a shirt is $5, I just don't feel like there's anything to think about. You want to invest in like Louis Vuitton shoes, you want to invest in, a Cartier bracelet. Okay, I got you. Like, I got you on that. But right now, with our biggest issue to Shein is that we're too freaking lazy to figure out how to do the returns.
I know. I have one from my last order, and I'm like, I paid $6 for this. It's going to cost me $8 to send it back.
Or $125 for our hourly rate to just think about how to do it, right? So like freaking gift it to somebody in the hallway, put it on a hanger and say free and be like, there you go. Okay, so for that element, I got nothing. Okay, for the class, it's about getting social media and PR. So, I mean, I selfishly think that that's a good next move for you if that's something that you want to know. It's not about social media and PR.
It's not about social media. It's all strictly PR.
PR, sorry. Okay, I might have lumped in social media. My bad.
Yeah.
With the PR, I mean, strategically, if that's the next move that you need more visibility and to be in those places, yes, that's not an impulse. That's a how-to. Now, secondary, you know me. How much was the course? Sorry, just curious.
It's like $500.
Okay, that's not that bad. $500 is not that bad. The other reason that I was bringing that up is we have someone, she's a vendor right now, only because I haven't had the opportunity of working with her yet. But Stacia, damn it. Did I say that right? Stacia, final answer. I always want to say Stasia. She needs to be like from Russia or something, but she's Stacia. She's still beautiful nonetheless. And she's our PR expert here in Chicago that I love. And I think she does a great webinar. She does a great masterclass that's free to just give you a taste of like what she does. That might be a better resource for us, because you and I promised no more courses. So she's a human that could do a strategy call with you and make sure that you're getting exactly what you need. So I just want to put, if we're going to have like decision analysis paralysis, it should be between person and course, not price, because that's where I would say on it. Yeah, I mean,
but all of these courses, this is a perfect example of like shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, and like you're rocking it with this podcast platforms. I'm curious, like, why this? Like, why?
Well, so I mean, I am, but they're not podcasts that have audiences. Right? Like, I mean, I get an article in Entrepreneur magazine, and then all of a sudden, like, the front like row of famous.
Potentially, right? Yeah, I mean, potentially. And we have the issue that like everybody puts seen on freaking Forbes or whatever, and it's like they've never been close to it. They've been to like Ford, but not Forbes. Yeah, I mean, that's up leveling strategically. So to me, it makes sense.
Right.
But also, have you tried to pitch those already without this, like just approaching them?
I don't have an Well, and that's the thing. I don't have the end to pitch them. Like, yeah. I think this is what this course like lacks is, okay, where are the spots you go to make the pitch or to send in the article? Like,
and that I know Stacia does. That I know is part of her thing, because she was the news producer for ABC and CBS here in Chicago for the last, few decades, respectfully, like literally. And I think she has all of that for you. So maybe if you're open to it, I'll make that introduction for you, because that might just be a better $500 spent to her versus like the course that you wouldn't have somebody to talk back with. But also maybe we should, I think she is on our guest interview list. So that's something we need to like get into action sooner than later. We need
It's
those
already
people.
March. I was gonna say it's March 2nd. Do you realize
Right.
that like April's in 30 days?
Rude.
I know. I know. I
I wish
know.
it's
Which
bourbon or something.
I mean, I need something stronger in this coffee this week.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
We had
It's been a week.
sangria
I'm
last night.
sorry.
There was bourbon in it. That's what made me have the bourbon kick. But yeah, I'm usually not a bourbon girl, but if you want to spike my sangria, go for it.
I was gonna say, does bourbon normally go in sangria? I didn't think it did.
it did last night and it was tasty.
No judgment here.
I was like, yeah, you can put whatever you want in there. Like, I don't care. Just give me the fruits, give me the wine, give me the yum, like, and a straw. So yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting.
But I think this is another thing that kind of goes back to what we talked about this weekend over the like showing the work, right? Like, I think this is where online courses really do people a disjustice in that, you know, we have a problem and it's not that they don't have a solution. They do, because they're getting results. But in a course or a program, it's not like you have support to help you get from A to Z, right?
Absolutely.
Like you're not, they're like, we're missing the show the work piece.
Yeah. And it's like, there's so many ways. You remember the whole, like, check the answer in the back of the book? Are we all of that era where they were all back there and you could kind of work yourself backwards, but even then you had to show your work? And I think it's interesting because we've been having that come up a lot in the last few weeks of just, yeah, okay, you say do this and that equals that, but like there's so much missing. And I know that's exactly what you're saying, but it's frustrating. I actually had an interesting conversation. Colleague or friend, colleague, I don't know. I don't know how to put her yet. I don't know, but you know, this conversation I had yesterday, she was asking me, she had hired someone to build out her YouTube. And yet again, I heard the, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that too. Anywho, and she was asking about YouTube specifically. And, you know, there's a very YouTube way of doing things, right?
Yes.
Like we know it's very YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's kind of iconically YouTube, right? It's that loud, it's the Gary Vaynerchuk, it's like the high bolded typography with like basically color blocking, like disgustingness. And my client and I who are building hers out, we did that, but differently. So we really led more with her brand and her class and her elegance, but had intentionality in areas that we maybe over focused on in a more YouTube manner. And this woman was asking me, she's like, oh, that's interesting. Like, but what about like the algorithm? What does that think? And I said, you know, if you want to be masses, classes, and asses, as my dad used to say, and you're trying to get everyone in the world, then you need to play along with the algorithm. But in fact, she's in real estate. And I said, your people are, you kind of already know them. You're pointing them there to get the know, like, and trust. So if you point them there and it's super YouTubey, like that's just another realtor. But if you point them there and it's you, then you're really showing up in your authenticity, you know? And I told her how we don't do TikTok. Like, it's a great platform if it's right for you, but over my dead body, am I going to be on there? Like, it's beyond amazing, like good, but you need to have the discernment. And she goes, oh, that's really interesting. I need to take that back to my strategist. And I said, I would, you know, because this isn't about you becoming a new YouTube influencer who needs to really play into the algorithm. It's about you showing your work. The point I'm bringing this back to is like showing the work in this instance is presenting yourself on platforms with honor to where you're at, but integrity of who you are. And I think that's also the thing. People are saying like where they're at, but the integrity's gone. They're just like, trust me, I'll show you all the ways. But then they show you like 3 of the 5 ingredients to the recipe. Oh, but if you up level, I'll give you the other 2. No, you just fucking stole my money.
I mean, yeah. And that, I mean, that's like even why I'm debating even this program. I'm like, okay, is this really just another one of these things that you like spend $500 on and you're like, okay, well, I'm granted, if I get one thing out of it, like as Shauna would say, if you get one thing out of it, like it's worth
Right.
the money. But at what point do we get to the point? And I think that you and I are like right on the cusp of this versus entrepreneurs or business owners that are in that like 1 to 3 year mark is
I don't know yet.
we're past. So like in that 1 to 3 year, 5 year range, you're scrappy, right? Like, I mean, you're scrappy. Like, so you're doing courses because you have to learn something, or that's the cheaper way of doing it than hiring somebody. So you figure out, like, I mean, like I always say, you have 3 options. You either learn how to do it, you hire somebody to do it, or you do nothing at all. Like, these are your 3 decisions to make for anything. And so when you're in that like new business realm, you're really scrappy on figuring out how to do it yourself. And that's the most inexpensive DIY way of doing your business. But then at what point do you kind of hit this plateau where you're like, I don't need to learn any more things. I just need to kind of make the leap into hiring people to do it for me.
1000%.
You know, so, and so there's this really weird, like in between almost, right? And I think you and I are both sort of at that point where,
I'm like head first in the shallow end in that area right now.
I mean, yeah. Well, and I mean, this is not a conversation we haven't had in the last day, you know. It's a weird plateau to be in where you're like, I know what I know, and like I'm scared to make the leap because 1, I think it's going to be expensive, or 2, I have mental blocks about it, or whatever it is that's coming up for you. A lot of people, it's the money.
Yeah. And I find that, let's go back to those milestones, because I was saying this to the vendors I was vetting this weekend. By the way, I'm so excited. We now have copywriter, we have another videographer, we have another photographer. I'm so excited. We got our people. We even have a stylist now too. So I was telling them, and they were all relating. They're like, oh my God, yes, you say it so succinctly, but you know. So there's like these milestones too that I'm going to bring this all back to with the money on top is, you know, the 3-year mark is where you're over the fiber hump. You're over the cheap and dirty way of doing things. Mm-hmm. Then at the 5-year mark, I like to say you're at your platform. You know, you either stand for something, you are on a mission for something, but you've got a platform that you really have clear vision that you stand for, you're behind, you're working towards that. And in the 10-year mark, you're at the refresh of like, you're kind of bored and you just want some change and to like refresh or revive some things. And on top of that, the way that I see the money hit is at the 3-year mark, they're like, okay, yes, I've done all of the courses possible. I might hire a VA. And then at the 5-year mark, it's like, oh, okay, clearly I never want to take another course or a lecture or hear a speaker again in my life. Like at this point, like I really want to hire someone to do it for me, as you said, which I think is option number 2. And then, or do nothing, which is option pretty much
totally a decision.
Yeah, at 10 years, they're like, do I do it or do I not? Like, nah. Right. And they're like, it's been working this long, why should I? But sometimes they get the itch, you know, and it's that itch of change, and it'll either hit them and it'll hit however it hits, you know, a tattoo, a divorce, a new business, a new partnership, like whatever it is, it'll hit, but like, let's see where it hits, you know? But I've been seeing that in my ideal clients, and especially the one that I spoke to yesterday. My favorite advice, I'm going to just share it. So she and I are, I don't know, I just need to know her way better effective immediately. But she was like, Ashley, fucking figure it out, leverage yourself. Quote, swear. And I was like, okay, I get the fucking figure it out part, but what does leveraging yourself mean? And she's like, okay, it's never how. The question is never how, it's who, because the right who knows how. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and so it almost brings me back to, for you being where you are in business, it's not a course problem, it's a person problem. So we have to go back to a person that can help us with the how. And even when I took Stacey's masterclass, she was saying that PR is kind of the long game. You do it basically the same way you do with social media. You know, you start with the local PR, they'll pick you up for 1 or 2 things, and then you get the bigger PR from there. So I love the end goal and the end game and things. And maybe that is something. And I feel like for the work that you're doing with the CEO of Simplified CEO and Simplified Success, I feel like those are connections that you should have or would be an asset to you for all of your CEOs, because that just, it's just more for them to benefit from with those connections. And you're not working with entrepreneurs, launchers, startups, anything like that. You're working with established businesses that are ready for you as a human, right? That's that 5-year mark. Let's hire people, the right who know how. And it just builds out even more oomph that you bring to the table. I would like to say oomph is now a professional terminology. But yeah,
kind of like shit ton is an actual metric of measurement.
you know, I shocked somebody. When was that? I had a call with someone this week, and I had no idea how the call was gonna go. And interesting human. But what I will say is I said that you know me, I speak all the time. No one can get me to shut up. I was speechless in her presentation of what she does. It was a shit ton. I was like, I couldn't turn around and say your name, what you do, or anything, but I could turn around and feel like I need Botox, because wow. And she's like, yeah, you could be a part of this and that. And I was like, no, thank you. I don't want anything to do with this. Like,
not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
I was like, oh my gosh, Violetta, if you're watching, sneakers. We had a fabulously horrible, awesome thing. So we have 4 people watching. Hello, everyone. Wow. Say hi in the comments. We'd love to see who's on with us, and tell us what you think about showing the math or just all the things. But Violetta and I were at a conference recently. We should not be saying this out loud, so therefore I will tell you. We had this like inside joke of sneakers. When you got to that one person that's just not your person or not your vibe. Paulette, oh my gosh, how are you? Paulette Reese Denise, oh my gosh, she is fabulous. One of my past clients. Hey. And that yellow Thunderbird of yours just driving around town being all amazing. Love it. So when we get to that person, it was like, you just want to run, you just want to scatter, because like you're in enough. Hello from Palm Springs. Yeah, she's in Palm Springs.
Oh, nice.
You want to scatter from those people. So Violetta was like, yeah, you got to put on your sneakers. Maybe that's our code word, sneakers. So we would like go up to somebody and we felt the vibe. She'd be like, oh, sneakers, I need to put on my sneakers. I'd be like, yeah, let me help with that. And then ding. It was like horrible. Oh, hi, Angie. Angie says, hello, fabulous ladies. Hi, everybody. How are you? It's so nice to have you with us. Let us know, Paula, Angie, the other 2 people that are on here with us. What questions do you have for us? I would love to open this up and get away from my
yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, like, this is so in alignment with like my feelings on the whole like the secret thing. Like that's kind of what it feels like, you know, like right. It's just this pet peeve I have of, I'm going to tell you the secret. 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 Then just fucking say it.
You're in of this like epic foreplay of utter disappointment. It's like, write it down and say it out loud. Like, whew. How do you ladies feel about the secret? How do you feel about that? Like, are you on board? Are you on it? Like, what do you think?
Just think it and it'll happen.
Oh my gosh, Paula, I love you so much. She says, I've never seen you 2 chat before. So what do you usually talk about? I love her. Ronnie, do you want to take that over?
What do we usually talk about? Oh my God, it might be an easier question to answer if we say what we don't talk about.
Yeah.
What don't we talk about?
Good talk. So that's what we talk about. Pretty much everything. Yeah, Paulette, this show is inspired by our Sunday calls. So Ronnie and I talk to each other as friends, colleagues, besties, sisters, whatever, every Sunday. And we started this back during COVID, and we called it the Mimosa Hotline because we needed girl time. We needed that therapy. We needed that office coffee chat kind of stuff, and we didn't have it. And so we would talk every weekend. And then we started saying like, God, the shit we say is really good. It could really help other people. Like, wouldn't it be just fun to have like a fly on the wall to overhear these conversations? And so we created the Mimosa Hotline, and we now have close to 32, I would say. No, I'm lying. 28, 27, 29.
This is 29.
29 episodes. She says, I love the girl time chat. Perfect. Then chat with us. That's exactly what we're doing.
Yep.
And we talk about business, life, clients, what's been happening in the week, what's happening in the world, our 2 cents on those things. And what we think is really unique is that you're getting 2 experts, also girls, also like friends, but Ronnie's a business strategist, marketing expert, operations extraordinaire, and I'm just a brand strategist. Strategist, designer, director.
Terrible,
I mean, you know my magic, Paulette. We branded you, and it's fabulous. We come on. So if there's things like what's going on in your world, ladies, like I know Angie, we have been circling. We definitely need you. Angie says, rule of thumb: sweet sangria with you. Oh, sorry, I read this all wrong. I was expecting business. Sorry, she's going to sangria. Rule of thumb: sweet sangria uses brandy, not sweet uses bourbon. Got it.
Oh,
very helpful.
Learned something new. I did
now
not
we
know
know
that.
this. So Paulette, this is when we know our people are in the right room, because if you can help us understand sweet versus not sweet sangria, this is important business in all capacities.
I mean,
thank you.
It's the only thing that fuels our businesses.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. There you go. And we were just talking earlier, ladies, so thank you for joining us now. We were talking earlier about our frustration recently has kind of been, and then Paulette goes, important to know, right? Yeah, we need to know how to
didn't
mix.
actually know that. So that's a really good tip. I didn't.
We may have to go back to the comments and copy and paste that for just the title of this episode.
Yes.
That's enough for us. Yes. Thank you. We are done here. Thank you. You ladies should just hop on with us and take over the show. But that is it. I love it. But we were talking about our frustration about how we feel a lot of the gurus, the coaches, the courses in the world, they all say like, here's the equation for success, but they don't show you the work. And Ronnie was using a math analogy where it's like, you remember when we would do math problems and you could go to the back of the book and see the answer. And even if you put it, you still had to show your work on how you got there. And we're finding that it's just everybody out there is like, I'll give you the first 3 ingredients, but then you must up level for another $10,000 to get the final 2. And it's like, no,
figure out the equation on your own.
Yeah. And so we, that was our fiery topic, but generally we talk about anything business, branding, marketing, operations, anything of those topics we're here to support with or help. So Paulette says, gotta mix the woo with the practical, my philosophy. See,
yes,
right
100%.
exactly.
You are in the right room for sure with us.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about the woo.
Yeah.
What's been the most wooey thing we've done recently? I've been journaling a lot. I've been journaling. I've been pulling divination cards. I've also been pulling my hair out.
I
just
started
carve on the She-Hulk. I don't really pull it out.
I started on the replay on Mind Over Matter this morning. So
oh yeah. Watch that. Got me all kerfluffled. So the woo, woo in business. I think also last episode, we were able to discover, so Paulette knows this, Angie, I don't know if you know this, but Paulette, we were able to find Ronnie's persona last time. And so we were helping her. It actually came out, she has twins. It's a very rare thing that happens, but she has twins. She has the CEO of Simplicity and the Freedom Fighter are her 2 personas. So they were coming to the table to help her kind of give navigation and direction to her business as she's, growing. I think all of us, girls, are you guys too? Like all of us are in a growth phase right now. Anybody else feel the stretch marks? Like, ugh.
So, okay. I have lots of comments to this actually. A couple of things. When I'm going back to your comment about the like 1 to 3 year mark, 5 year mark, 10 year mark, right?
Right. Yep.
I will say even though I've been doing this for 15 years. So like when we say those numbers, it's just like a label to help us compartmentalized. It's not an actual hard, like, oh, as soon as you hit 10 years, but
it's like an astrology reading. Like you're a Taurus when you fall in this category.
Yeah.
Pretty much
It's a way to segment kind of what we're talking about, but I will say I'm at that 10-year mark.
Yep.
I'm so there, ready for a change. It all might go away. But I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
You're also at the old lady mark.
You. I mean, you're not wrong, but
I only get every now and then, I only get a few opportunities to poker at the 11 years older than me mark, but that's fine too. So, no. So you were talking about the 3, 5, and 10-year mark, how 10-year you are because you're at I have the refresh itch, and you were talking about the mathematical equations.
Yeah. So that 10-year mark and kind of that change energy, and then kind of pulling into the woo a little bit. So obviously it's the first of the month. So everybody like puts out those March horoscopes, blah, 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 like what's happening in the astrology world. And like, apparently March is going to be the craziest month of the year, that this is the turning point for everything this next month.
I have heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not even really specific to anybody, but everybody, because there are a couple planets changing signs. And so it's kind of one of those, when we relate that back to business, I look at it and go, okay, well then how do I set up for the coming month? And I can see it in my clients already. Mm-hmm. So like,
I think it's navigating change in energy. And this is kind of my like, freak factor too. I know that's a freak factor thing because Paulette loves the flying your freak flag, let your freak flag fly is her motto. Mm-hmm. She also says she loves it. You're a freedom fighter. Paulette's 10-year mark. She says, I'm at the 30-year mark, which I love. But actually we just branded you a couple years ago. So like you should be feeling fresh and still good with all of that. And she says, March, okay, bring it on. So yeah, I think I'm curious because I'm seeing so much of myself in like the vibe that's out there right now. So as you know, but for everyone else watching, my stability is change. And I realized I was always thinking I had to have a stability that's like balanced and zen and equal. And that is not my stability. I kind of die a slow death and shrivel up when everything's like that. I like change. And so for me, I'm looking at this in a positive way. I think everyone's kind of in the snow globe effect. It's like the world has kind of gone, and we're all kind of seeing how things are going to fall and where they're going to land. And I think instead of fighting the energy, I think it's leaning into it. So it's like, okay, if we have change energy, how good does it feel? Like maybe it's just me, but ladies, tell me here too. Have you ever moved the furniture around in your living room and all of a sudden it just feels fresh and new and you're like, oh yeah. I think we're being called to do that even in our businesses. And I know I'm going to out myself. I'm not going to tell too much, I promise. But like, even for myself, it was this huge moment of, I felt very black and white paths that showed up for me. Like, do I do this way or do I do that way? And it's interesting because I think we're all being called to up level and play bigger. And I've heard that for how many years have we all been in business? Play bigger, you're playing too small, yada, yada. But it hit in a new way of work smarter, not harder. The whole like our simplicity thing. I think like for me, it was time for support. Like, and to me, that's bigger. Kathleen's here too. I love this. Hello, Kathleen. The best girls are in town today. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, moving furniture right now. I know. Do you ever get that way where you're just like, oh my God, I can't. So this is one thing back in the day. If you ever slept over at a Rhoda house, like a female Rhoda, you can't wake up in the middle of the night without turning on a light, because when we can't sleep, when we can't sleep, we move furniture. So it's like very dangerous because you might wake up and you went to a house where like the couch was over there and then now the couch is over there. You'll flip over something easily. So we warn all of our guests, like if we can't sleep, the furniture might be somewhere else. It's like our thing. But I love that. Yeah. So it's like leaning into that change. But I'm curious, Angie, Paulette, Kathleen, how many of you are feeling that? I bet Violetta's on here too. I'm just going to call her out too, just in case. But how many of you are feeling that? If not now, she's definitely on the replay. how many of you are feeling this like unsettled change energy in the air, and you're kind of like, damn, and our paths showing up for you that you're being pretty much called to make a decision of like right or left. And
I think that's also too what's sparking me on this like course thing on PR.
Okay.
It's that like,
our two paths showing.
Well, it's that you're playing too small. You need to be on a bigger stage. And so like this popped into my world, like all of a sudden, right around the same time. You know, I've had actually somebody, a business proposal 2 weeks ago to be like, I had a client come up to me and was like, what's it going to take to get you to be my CEO? And
was that me?
No, you were the second one.
Ah.
Like it happened twice in a week. So like one of these, like, it's just one of this, well, I will say I've been proposed to like that many times.
Well, here's my fuck you moment.
Right.
By the way, we're open to all the fucks here. So please, if it's offensive, like, you know, whatever. But also let me interrupt really quickly because Kathleen says, definitely a new perspective, but sometimes taking my breath away. Yeah, it's heavy. It's like, it's like, it's an insulting change too. Paulette says, loving all my changes right now. The past choices are coming into friction fucking finally. Perfect. Angie says, I feel restless when it's time to take a leap. Yeah. So it's it's kind of like, so if I'm getting the vibe, it's like a gut punch to the stomach.
I feel that.
It's like, but then at the same time, you're antsy to make the change, but then you move too fast. I have felt really weird in mine because normally when I get this, I'm kind of like, you know, at the conference, the loud music and you're like anxious and you better run to the back of the room. This one for me has been creepy because it's been the opposite. It's very solid, quiet, very grounded, very like, if you want to be you, be that, like, do this. And it feels so different for me. How about you? Like, how are your, because this is coming in, so you're getting the same, it seems like everybody's getting the same download of play bigger. How's your play bigger feeling?
I also kind of have, I kind of have that antsy feeling a little bit too. I come at it from a different perspective because you like change, like you thrive in it. It does, like, if you move my furniture, like we're done. I'm like punching somebody in the throat.
I would have totally walked up in there and been like, oh, maybe we should go here. And you'd be like,
so it's like, when I say antsy, I'm coming at it from that different angle of not from an excited angle. I mean, it is an excitement, but it's also a nervousness. And so, and it's also one of those things, and I'm probably like one of the most patient people in the world, but I'm starting to lose patience. Right. You know, like, I feel like I'm starting to lose patience. And I don't know if that's because of change with me or change with other people or like just the vibe, but
or people need to make a decision. Maybe there's been options on the table for so long and it's like, fucking choose something already.
And that might be me. I might be like pissed off at myself about that. You know?
Well, I think you just need to choose your suitor. You've had so many people proposing. You're sitting there with like 10 rings and you just got to slip a couple on there, honey. Like, you got to choose who you want. I love it.
I like playing the field.
Okay, that's a question. Ladies, do you like to play the field or are you like committed and you know? I know, like, I am not monogamous in business. I will tell you that.
Like, yeah, like how many frogs do I have to, like, I haven't really kissed a frog to give me a prince yet.
I thought I was your prince.
Well, no, you were my princess.
Thanks.
Well, so, I mean, this is one really weird thing. And I think I mentioned this to you, like, you're the only woman that's ever done that.
You know,
it's just like, I think about my clients and I can very easily say that the majority of my clients are men.
Yeah. And the majority of mine are female for sure.
Yeah.
Well, actually they all are. I think I've had 2 guys.
I've had a couple of women clients, but they're all small projects.
You know what else I would say too that's interesting is I feel like I'm very masculine for feminine. So you know, like I kind of feel like I could fit in the guy category. The reason I say that is like when I played water polo, I practiced with the guys, but played for the girls. Like I have this very like male dominant energy to me, I feel like. Not that I'm like, yeah, I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but you know what I mean? Like, I wonder.
Yes, I also kind of feel that same way, where I've had people tell me like, I've had people say to me, like, you're a weird girl. Like, I've never met a girl that thought like marriage was a business transaction. And I'm like, it sort of is.
Mhm.
So I kind of have that
Yeah.
logical masculine thought processes of things too.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I work so well with men.
I remember when I was younger, I was very much a tomboy, and I always felt like a dude stuck in a girl body, but not to like the trans respectful level of things. Like,
Right.
by the way, I'm really respectful. I love my trans people, but it was just, yeah, I really thought like a guy. I love the simplicity. You know, back in the day, my whole outfit was a sweatshirt and jeans, like, because I'd be in and out of the pool all day long. Like, that's
Right.
all I could handle. Like, it was a thing. But yeah, interesting to think about. Ladies, how are you feeling with your changes? I mean, you're telling me this, but we're saying there's like this antsy, like patience was the next level. How are you guys feeling with your patience? Okay.
Yeah.
So Angie says, I said the same thing to my now husband, Ronnie, and I about the business transaction.
We need to talk. Like,
you got, oh my God, Angie. I know Angie likes me, but she would love you. Love you. Like, I think her.
I'm not afraid of commitment. Alan and I have been together for 23 years. I just haven't ever gotten married.
Has he ever proposed?
Yeah.
Oh, details.
Not in like the like get down on one knee, like serious way, but
what did he do? Like,
drunken stupors. Like, I'm so drunk, I love you.
Oh,
you know, those kinds.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
That's not the romantic kind. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But still, also do.
Yeah. One time I ever got proposed to, I actually did call my mom because I was a little concerned it might be real. I don't know, Catherine, do you remember
I've heard this. I've heard you told
the
me
back of the yacht, and the guy I had been dating for a few months. I was like, oh shit, like I know we've all been drinking, but I think you honestly mean this. So I called my mom, who we're not super close, and I was like, I feel like I should tell you this because I think it was legit. And then if it wasn't, if it, you know, whatever, under the carpet, but if it was, you're gonna be mad that I didn't say something. So like, heads up. And she was like, that's nice. Fuck answers like that. That's nice. Anyways, early demon stages, didn't know better. So ladies, what's going on in your business or life, or things that you would like to get two blondes insights on?
So I'm like, not to completely change the topic, but I sort of am, because I have a funny story to tell you.
Do it. Yeah. And I've got about 15 minutes. Heads up.
So yeah, we got about 15 minutes, but I have a funny story to tell you. It kind of relates to this a little bit. So like yesterday, or day before yesterday, Jim comes to me, like we had our like strategy, like all day kind of meeting. And he's like, I just feel like we're on the cusp of like really making something happen. And I want to do something really drastic. And he's like, instead of like spending $4,000 to hire a marketing person to help us, why don't we spend $4,000 and basically pay people to take our course? And I'm like, what? So he comes up with this idea, and he was like, what if, like, how could we just scale like very quickly? And I was like, let's give our course away for free. And if they finish and pass it by a certain date, we'll give them a $50 gift card. He's like, that's a better $4,000 spent. And I was like, okay. So anyhow, this is a long conversation, right? Very, very long conversation. We finally end up with a promotion of March Madness. We have 64 seats. Like, we're going to give 64 trainings away. You know, finish by the end of the month. You can either upgrade to another course or get $50 gift card, whatever. So we have this whole like campaign now. It took us like 2 hours to get there.
Yeah.
But so I'm like putting together our email to like send it out to the list yesterday. And I send it to him. And he basically rewrites the whole thing. So I like do all of the updates. But then later on that evening, he sends me like, I send him the revised version, and he was like, okay, can you add this? And we had redesigned a couple of like free resources pages on the site. And he was like, add this little section in about all the free resource pages. And one, you know me, and like telling people to do too many things in any place. And I'm like, okay, one, now you're asking people to do too many things. Two, this email is also so freaking long. Nobody's going to make it to this point anyhow. But anyway, he says to me, I want to add it in because I want to I don't want this to be a 100% salesy email, 100% sales, like giving them something for free. I just quoted the chat back and it's like, really? Like, are you serious? This whole thing is about a free course and we're paying them to take it. Like, I can't believe you just said to me, I want to give them something for free.
When the whole thing is about it being free. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, men.
It struck me just so funny that I'm like, you
don't see this? Like,
you don't see this?
But we're
like,
so
this
close to it though, Ronnie. Like, that's why we need you for these things. It's like, we say all this and then, yeah, poor babes. Oh,
it's like, I don't want to be.
Are you guys going to get like, okay, so obviously you're going to get more people working through the system, so you can work out things on the back end, which really help, but then you're also probably getting testimonials from them. So it is better marketing. I don't hate his idea on it. I mean, yes, it could help. And yes, I mean, if the money's there and you could flush it through, that does help more.
Right.
Well, and I know you just built this out, so you kind of need a few not guinea pigs, but kind of to just see how things work and where the hiccups are.
Correct.
But at the same time, a few of those, it creates case studies, right? It's like when people see like, oh, she did that, which totally makes sense. I'm just struggling with that whole thing of like, oh, Ashley, you can do that too. Like, oh, you're like,
yeah,
frustrating.
That is frustrating when you hear that from people and people that know you.
I know. And then, and then what was, I'm like, how do I do better at this? Like, I almost want to like post every day at the end of my day what I did, because then maybe they would know. Like, I just built out an entire YouTube channel for a client, like from naming the channel to the banner art, to the graphics, to the thumbnails, to the video editing, to the content we were using, to the full 12 episodes we have planned. And then she goes, I didn't know you could do that. But I get it. Like, none of us really know, it's hard to know. I don't know all of the amazing, I'm your bestie, but I literally don't know all of the clients until we had our talk this last week of how similar I was to them. And that was actually like jarring and exciting all at the same time. But even, all of us, it's like, I think sometimes we get so into social media to sell and to book a client and to do this, but we're not documenting what we do. And sometimes I think we should be focused more on the documenting of like, instead of celebrating, I got a $10,000 sale. What if you had a celebration? Today, I got to build out a YouTube channel. Today, I got to build a logo. Today, I got to do this. Like, I don't know. What do you ladies think? Like, what if we stopped marketing our sales and marketed our skills? That should be a quotable. Just gonna leave that one right there.
Timestamp that.
Yeah.
If we were doing show notes again.
That was a good one. Somebody else quote me in the comments on that one. What if we stopped showcasing our sales and started documenting our skills? Yeah. There you go. You're welcome. That was the one nugget you came here for today.
Well, and two, I mean, to that point, like, we're all marketing what we want people to see. So we don't know what's happening in the back end of the work we do, right? Because we're like, that's our storefront is what we want people to see.
And they probably want to see the nitty gritty, dirty FSD, first shitty draft. If anyone wants to know, FSD
you
is
should see some of our episodes. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the behind the scenes of how we work and do our process. Like, granted, now if somebody like sat here in front of me with a camera and watched me all day, they'd be like, this is the most boring reality show ever.
Oh no, they would have a whole variety of snacks and teas. They would get like a charcuterie of branding. But okay, so Andrew says, I love that, Ashley. Thank you. Kathleen says, yes, it's great to repeat what you can do for the client. Yeah, we might play with that. I've got a lot of things coming out this month where it was, Ronnie really gave me a good perspective. She's like, show up as the thought leader that you are. Stop trying to market, stop doing all this, like share your thoughts. And I completely rewrote my social media for the month on that, because I realized I was trying to teach branding, like educate people on what branding was versus like direct them on branding. And that was different for me. Even the newsletter, if you guys are all on the newsletter, which I believe all of you are, you're really going to love March's, because I wasn't like, for example, I'm just going to give this away, but the focus was the strategic side of branding. And in the past, I would have explained that the strategy behind any business and brand is their values, vision, and mission statements, and explained how you get to those. But then I realized my ideal client already has all of that. Paulette says, love you too. Thank you. Gotta go. Bye, Paulette. Have a great day. We will see you hopefully again every Thursday. Mark your calendar. Your Pacific Standard Time. So 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be here live for you. So we'll see you again soon. But this time I really looked at like, okay, well, my ideal client is, they already have that established. So how do we strategize when they're at the 5 or 10 year or 30 year mark? What's the strategy behind that? So I gave directive, like if I were your brand strategist, designer, director, what's the directive for the next month I would give you on that? So that comes out, potentially today. Now that
I think it's in my inbox. I think it's in my inbox.
People, you're gonna love me for that one. It's a good one. And I was really proud. I was like, damn, this is a different level. We're not talking down here anymore. We're going here. So I had so much fun writing that one. And even next month for that topic, it's gonna be better. So on that note, final thoughts, questions, concerns, emotional outbursts, let us know. That would be helpful.
I was going to say, we did not coordinate the green today, by the way. This was not talked about beforehand, I promise.
Green.
And you're like, we did not have
I know
a memo before this on the green. This was
well, it's also hard because our color palette's like the same, so we kind of know.
To be honest, like this is the main probably this and gray is the main color in my closet, if I were to open it up.
The main color of my wardrobe is black. Every time. Okay, funny fact, we'll end on this unless someone else has a question, comment, or concern for us. I was doing my laundry the other day and I was hanging it up in the bathroom to dry, and it was all black, like all black hanging, and I really wanted to take a picture and say I did my color wash today. Like all black, and that's like my, you do lights, darks, and colors, so mine's like light, dark, and black. I was like, I don't know if anybody get that. Everybody probably be like, Ashley, go back to work. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, that would be fun to see if somebody documented. Oh God, in mine you would have snacks, wine tasting. I don't know where that came from. I don't drink during the day. You won't know. I don't even drink by myself. Anyways, maybe I should start. Mine would be snacks, tea tasting, music, and cats.
Oh, and like in your day?
If somebody were in here to document this, like,
well, I mean, I'm just hunched over my laptop all day. It feels like it seems boring, but I mean, I'm not, but mine would be coffee and dogs. I was put on this earth just to pet all the dogs. I promise you.
There you go. All right, ladies. My black simplifies my life. That needs to be a tattoo, a bumper sticker, a t-shirt.
I used the tagline.
Call. That should be my mating call.
Yeah. I used a very similar quote on a social media post. I don't know when it's coming out, that just said simplicity is the new black.
Oh, yes. Yes, that was sexy. Kathleen Lansing for the win. My black simplifies my life. Amen, girl. Yep. And there's a very successful CEO for you. We were talking about this the other day about, no, I was talking to a stylist. Sorry. Projection. I was talking to a stylist about, having her lavish styles and how she dresses everybody. And I said, at some point, do your leaders, because she's working with high level executives, CEOs, and people like that. And I said, aside from the speakers, are the CEOs just looking for black with textures and prints and patterns so that there's, diversity in the wardrobe, or what? Variety, not diversity. Sorry, my bad. And she's like, yeah, they do get to that level. And I was watching her. I'm still vetting her, to be honest. But it was interesting because she came on with a very loud print of things. And I remember when I was styling, we had this conversation that I would clash with the client if I wore things like that. So I always ended up wearing black because it's professional, it's uniform, it's neutral for whatever they have going on.
Right.
And I kind of saw her maybe make a mental note of that, like, oh, that kind of makes sense. And I was like, let's see what
I mean, you saw my Shein cart. Like, it's basically all the same thing.
yeah. Yeah.
I did have
what
one
really
pattern
threw
in
me
there.
off, though, you know, the videos where like the anime or AI comes on and like reads the text and it sounds very like robotic. It called it shine. Have we been saying it wrong the whole time? Because
We
that
might have.
actually makes sense. My little Shein thing, I was like, oh my God, is Shein shine? Because
It might be.
makes sense. I'm like,
I mean, that would be a better brand name. Shine.
I always thought it was like respectfully. I always thought it was like a
it's spelled
company or like IKEA or something where they have like the weird names of things. And I thought it was like a Shein thing. But then when it said
That's how it's
shine,
spelled.
but it's like misspelled shine, I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. But I swear everybody calls it Shein. Like the girls I know that shop on there are Shein.
I think so too, because
But
it's
if
spelled that way.
Shine this whole
Shein.
time, yeah.
But maybe we're wrong.
Interesting. Anywho,
Anyway.
all right, everybody. Kathleen says easy to pack. Totally agree with you. Angie, Paulette, Kathleen, Violetta on the replay, because I know she's up in there. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please share. You've got Mimosa Hotline. You have the Facebook page here. You can message us. You can email us at mimosa.hotline@gmail.com if you have questions you want to be private about. If you have questions that you want us to bring up on the show, you're working through something, a YouTube channel, social media, a website, a photo shoot, graphic design, videography, whatever you're working on in your business to build out your brand and marketing, we're here to support our advice. If you leave us alone, we talk about shit like this. So it's up to you what you want, but that's what it was. So today was girl time for you. Have a wonderful week. We will be live every Thursday. So if you love this and you want to mark your calendar, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, noon on Eastern Time. Find your time zone between that. And yeah, final thoughts, Ronii?
Just have a good week.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.